We are live at the Pinart. You run shit right there, B. You run shit right there, B. You run shit right there, B. Yeah, that shit right there, B. That shit right there, B. Yeah, that shit right there, B.
USC.
This nigga bombing countries and shit. What's up with the boy?
Guess he's trying to get attention off the Epstein file.
That's what I feel like. He's just doing any, and he trying to fuck up the midterms because they know they're gonna lose them shits. That's my exact thought process. So we are live. Hold on, which one is it? There you go. Live. Share. More. Fuck you mean?
Fuck you mean?
The real USC.
Beautiful Saturday, about 50 degrees up here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's nice as hell. And not for nothing, man. We are in season 2 of Faulk You Mean, episode 1 of season 2, the premiere. Lock in, tune in. Make sure you put your team's name in the comment section, and feel free to comment. Don't be shy to hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I'm your co-host. I'm
Clemson.
Hicks, and we are here with King Faulk
Fuck you mean?
on the Faulk You
Been
Mean
a while.
podcast show.
Been a while.
My
A lot to digest. A lot to digest. We currently at war right now, man. How you feel about that?
Ah, man. All right, so look, I'm gonna just go like this. So they show they interview somebody from Iran. I guess a guy that sit down at the table and shit, a diplomatic motherfucker. And the way he was talking, through a 30-minute interview that I watched, right? Before I explain that, I'll say I feel like Trump is a fucking piece of shit. And he don't give a fuck about nothing but what he give a fuck about. I feel like he's distracting us from all types of shit. Israel control our entire government with money, and he's doing stuff to try to stop the midterms. If they're at war, ain't no regime changing nowhere in America. So I think that's a lot to do with it. But then when you listen to the guy that's the diplomat for Iran, you know, he's saying like this war is unprovoked. They started it, we was at the tables, everything was going good, and then a couple hours later they bombing us. So the whole issue is, do y'all got ballistic missiles that can reach America or close to reaching America? Now remember I said that. The other thing is their nuclear situation, right? So what Iran is saying is they willing to do everything and anything to show that they will not make mass weapons of destruction, but they do need their nuclear program for other stuff, to help, with their country and shit, right? So what they're saying is they'll do all types of sanctions and shit that they'll allow, us to come in and inspect them and all that, and make sure that they don't ever get on that point where they want to make it about mass destruction, right? So then I ask myself this. If you're not willing to give up the whole program after Trump 6 months ago said they destroyed their program and they can't do shit with nuclear war shit, and now you telling us that's why you at war right now. So, in my opinion, I think the American government lying their ass off. They just needed an excuse to do what they're doing, right? Which why is the big issue. Um, but then you listen to Boy interview, and he plays the victim, and then you realize that people have been protesting in their country, and all of a sudden, all these motherfucking protesters got killed. So they got asked that question, like, yo, y'all killed like 13,000 people that was protesting. And he made it like it was Israel that, put armed people in those protests, and they started shooting the protesters and shooting at the cops. What would we do if that happened in our country?
Right.
Right? So to me, it sound like, kind of sound like some bullshit you making up. Sound like y'all ain't like them protesting and y'all killed them motherfuckers. Not act like y'all don't play those games over there, right? Then you saying you don't want to make mass destruction, but you want your nuclear program. You willing to come to the table and do things to make sure everybody comfortable that y'all not making those type of weapons, but you're not going to dismantle the program at all, right? So then that tells me, as long as you have nuclear capability, you can always go from not wanting to do nothing bad to doing something bad.
Yeah,
Then
if
they
you want.
right. So then they asked them, "What's up with these missiles y'all got built, and y'all close to being able to reach American soil with these missiles?" He gave you a percentage on how far his missiles go, and then told us to believe them that they not going to ever try to make a missile that can reach us. They had like 200,000 yards or something with their missiles, and they won't go over that. So that tell me y'all got the capability of actually reaching here, and maybe Trump bitch ass ain't lying. If you got the capability to do it, we need to do something about it. Period. Ain't no wait and see and none of that shit. So in that sense, I think the more that guy talked, the more he started revealing shit. You just listen to a person talk, they'll tell you everything you need to know. If you listen, right? And what I heard was we do got the capability to be able to shoot a missile at America and hit y'all soil. We also got the capability to make nuclear weapons. That's what I heard. So then I start to think like, well, if that's the case, then, I feel a little justified about what's going on right now. Just a little bit. But then everything that's going on and why, this is going down. Like he ain't asked Congress. Like Trump doing all types of shit that he should be impeached for right now. Like you can't go to war without the blessing of Congress. And he went right to war without him. Fuck him. But he been doing that this entire term.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got the majority, and the Republicans ain't going to go against MAGA. So, I mean, I ain't. I'm be honest, I ain't mad at him for doing it. Now I'm talking about just doing what he wants, and they elected him. That's what they wanted. That's what
Yeah.
the people wanted.
Yep. So the question is this: for you to hit American bases, you got to tell the other countries around you, the Middle East, that you're not attacking them. You just attacking American bases, and then you got to hope that they don't want to join the war. And then there's China.
What China talking about?
So China is giving Iran the maps and shit, and they said they backing them, and they got their back pretty much, and they giving them maps of where all our ships and shit is at, and letting them use their satellites.
Well, I mean, again,
And Faulk, listen to what I'm telling you. We are the most powerful military in the world. I agree. Would you agree with that?
yeah.
Now, with that being said, there's not a country in the world that's stupid enough, maybe China, maybe Russia, that's stupid enough, like from the Middle East countries, to talk about, we're not worried about America and we will defend ourselves and we will be successful. Now, is that propaganda talk, or something that we don't know?
No, I think that's propaganda talk. I think it's propaganda talk. But what I will say is, China really trying to be the global power.
And you
Um,
and eventually somebody is going to step up and be the global power outside of us, the way shit going. Do you feel like this can be World War III?
Uh,
Because they just had a 12-day war
I'm a,
that
I'm a,
we
I'm a,
was
I'm a,
involved in.
I'm gonna say no, and this is why I'm gonna say no. It's too much involvement with the financial systems and trading and money won't run the world, and it's motherfucking China got interest over here. Americans got an interest over there. Then the Europeans got interest in both. I just think at the end of the day, it's gonna be hard to be like how World War II. Like when
Like,
countries beef, yeah, but the World War One was like, hey, it's us against y'all, and this is the us, this the good guys, and this the axis of evil. I just think that shit ain't gonna be like that. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be on a different scale. I think it might be a digital,
mhm.
right? It might be a digital warfare. It might be with computers and infrastructure like lights and electricity and things of that nature. But I just can't see it being how World War II was, bro. Like that's just too many motherfuckers got money invested in both areas. And the interest, you know what I'm saying?
So my thing is this: if people start picking sides, how many people will ride with Iran? I don't really see too many countries riding with them.
Well, I mean, you got. I mean, it's I don't want to really talk about it on here, but you got a lot of things that play with that too. It ain't simple about a country. You playing
It's
into
about it's about
religion and
it's
all the
about
other shit.
yeah, and it's about power too, right? And it's about, is it the right time to strike and do some things? Because at the end of the day, no matter who's the world power, the guy beneath him is always trying to be the guy, right? So you always got that, right? And and in my opinion, I just think any window that open up a situation to make us weak and take over the world power is this window right now, because it's not because of the Iran uh, attack right now, but like what we're dealing with as a whole as an American country right now. In my opinion, I think this is one of the weakest we ever been. We look weak on a world stage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you ever see the shit House of Cards
Hmm.
on Netflix? And really, the premise behind it is you actually ever see a real House of Cards? And cards is flimsy.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's an idea. Like a
Right.
lot of stuff is just the idea of something, but when you really dive deep into it, that shit flimsy like a house of cards. So I mean, we'll see. Um, but yeah, man, it was good catching up about what's going on, man. Let's hop into this
Well,
league
we
shit, man. A lot of shit to go over, man. Oh my God, where do we start?
well, we starting at 5-star flex. Of course, we need to talk about the 32 5 stars of the 2034 class. But before we get there, we got to give a shout out to Coach T and that South Carolina Gamecock football program, who's won the 2033 national championship to take us into the season 10, which is 2034. Um, we've already got to week 9. Week 10 opens up the awards shows and all that, and who's in the college football brackets and things like that. So we're 1 week away from that. But a summary from off season all the way up until where we are right now. For we'll get into a little bit more when we get off the 5-star flex. But just with the coaches around the country in our league, the movement we had, new coaches coming in, all the stuff that we got going on. We got a new champ that got to post his team name up there as the 2033 champion. And we got some teams that, coaches that went fired, coaches that stepped away, and we got some teams that are rising and falling. So from the landscape of week 0 to week 9, what do you see?
What I've seen is new energy. Um, a lot of new energy in South Carolina, whether it's guys leaving, going to Nebraska, or North Carolina State going to. It's a lot of new energy, man. Arizona State left Texas A&M back. We got Knox back. Got DC Hitter back. We got Florida reiterating,
Dogs.
uh, just doing their thing. Big win yesterday. Louisville. Like we just got it's just a lot of energy right now, and um, some guys are peaking, right?
Hmm.
Guys are hitting their stride. Some guys are digressing, and then some guys are on the comeback trail, man. Alabama, um,
They having a
looks
hell
like
of a
they
year.
after a couple seasons of not making the offs is
Full
back.
time.
Um, with authority, looks like LSU back. It looks like some team that's been there for a while is falling off. The Tennessees of the world, and then I want to say this: one of the dominant forces in this dynasty. They're currently 5-3.
But but
So
but but, but
it's a
are you
lot of different things happening right now.
allowed to have a bad season after the Oklahoma run that they've had over the?
I mean, you're not going to win it every year. You're going to have new energy. You're going to have, but what I will say is certain things you just can't allow. And the all season for them would be can't be not making the playoffs, in my opinion. Like you gotta at least make the play. Like with that roster, those recruits top three every year, with CEO and just that ability for them to have this many losses right now is coaching, in my opinion. They're not coaching to their talents or they have, my estimation. But we'll see. I mean, season still what week 8, week 9. They still can make a run. But yeah, good football, man. Clemson in that tight end. I don't know how he got a 6'8" tight end. I don't know. Like
Transfer
He's
I don't
portal,
not
know.
buddy.
giving grace to what he
Like that's
just
just
said
crazy.
about
Like
Florida
I'm
and
like,
Georgia, two
but what
rising
he's doing with
stars.
him is just crazy.
But true.
Um, Ohio State looks like they're back, right? I mean, well, they look like they're done with losing those games and not making the playoffs. Um, yeah, man, it's an exciting season right now. Georgia, with a backup quarterback, going to
I just jumped
Columbia
in, bro.
and beat, go for two, grab their nuts in overtime. Beat an undefeated South Carolina team that looked like they were going to run away with the SEC regular season. Um, yeah, man, a lot to talk about, man. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna get into like uh the rankings and all that, and then we'll give our opinions on what we feel about what teams are doing this year in the 2034 year, season 10. Right? I'm just happy the league chipping, and it ain't no real burnout. All right, so let's talk about the 5-star flex, the number one player in the nation in this year's class.
Can you share your screen?
Yes, sir.
I'm here.
All right. So when you talk about the number one player in the nation, we are talking about a right tackle, pass protector. Um, I'm gonna call him the right tackle, the Jordan Seaton, but the right tackle Jordan Seaton. I think that's the type of player this kid is. 6'4", 299. Obviously, he can come in and put some weight on. Um, and he decided to verbally commit to the Oklahoma Sooners. Look, Oklahoma, no matter what type of season they have right now, they have the range and capability to bring in whatever fuck they want. And they've shown that over the last 5 seasons to better bring in a really good class. The one thing I would say they've done a really good job of, and it's a wait and see process, is they've have gotten over the last 3 off seasons the number one offensive lineman in every draft class. I mean, every recruiting class. They've been getting, you know, top 1 and 2 linemen, 2 of them at least in the last 3 classes. Eventually, you would think that offensive line would be that Dallas Cowboy line of the '90s, right? The Great Wall. Eventually, right? Like when they grow up and they get to where they got to get to, I would think that he's gonna have one of the better lines in the country right now. Now, when you're looking at a 3-year run of offensive linemen, top offensive linemen at their position, you're talking about some of them being redshirt sophomores right now, or redshirt freshmen, or true freshmen. When do we see it fall? Right? Because you would think this season you would start to see a little bit of it, but
I'm
seem like
I'm gonna be honest. I think you're going to see their red shirt sophomore year. So they're And the only reason I say it is O linemen, while very important, I got two redshirt senior corners, and they just playing lockdown. I'm talking about like 5 years in, they playing how they're rating. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
got
I
you.
think O
Yeah.
linemen and cornerbacks were the same, and that is going to take a couple years, even if they start, right? Even if they get experience. But I'm talking about to get that elite, like their play match their overall. I think for O linemen, that red shirt sophomore year, even maybe the red shirt, because most of the O linemen early. But I think next year, the year after, you're going to start seeing that turnaround with him O linemen. These
Playing
top O
one
linemen.
redshirt freshman RN but the rest
That
are
makes sense.
upperclassmen, so 100 points.
And then knowing how to use your XP points definitely matter. The number
Yeah.
two player in this class is a will linebacker. It seems like Auburn always get the top linebacker, even though Alabama's linebackers do. Auburn get one of the top 5-star off Will, Sam, or Mike's every season, bro. Um, should we make something out of that,
I
or am
mean
I reading too
Auburn.
much into it?
All whether they win or lose, they in the mix, man. One of those programs. They're not necessarily a blue blood. They ain't Syracuse. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they always in the mix. They always in the mix in transfer portal. They just they always give Alabama fits in the Iron Bowl. So I'm not surprised by this.
It seems like when it comes down to the state of Alabama, Auburn actually dominates when it comes down to recruiting in the state of Alabama. Now, is that because of choice, right?
I, I think
Auburn,
it's choice.
I was
I
gonna
think
say, I think
Alabama
Alabama
just,
reached so far they
yeah, I
can go
think
anywhere.
Alabama just they in Texas, they in Cali, they in New
Florida,
Jersey, they in Florida, they in Ohio, they ain't even fuck about no
they
Alabama.
ain't
I
worried about
mean,
no just no Alabama. They can go to Chicago
yeah,
and be a 5-star uh, tier program. So you're 100% right. But Deshaun Magalohan, to me, I think he, 6 foot 215 as a will. I probably think they'll move him to Mike eventually, right? He could put the weight on, but height wise, I'm not really comfortable with him on the edge.
yeah. I think he has the ability to be Derek Brooks.
Hmm.
I think he might be unless he put on a good 15, 20 pounds. I think he might be fight for that middle, cuz in that SEC.
So if he's too light to play Mike in the SEC, what is he going to do at will linebacker at 6 foot
I
215?
mean, you could hide it. You could hide the 6 feet. If he's speedy, he could cover him, right?
He a
He can
lurker,
set
so
the
he can definitely
edge.
cover.
But in that middle, at 215, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put some weight on. About a good 30. I mean, he need to be about 235, 238. In my opinion, to play big boy football that's needed in the middle in the SEC.
Yeah, he's the number 2 player in this class, though. What does that mean to you?
Uh, Not nothing right now, currently. It's great to get the number 2 player in the nation. But it's what happens when you get that type of player. What are you doing with in 2, 3 years of on his name up there, All American, or is he just going to be on somebody else's team because he wasn't done right, meaning he wasn't playing as a freshman, got red shirt, all those things. So we'll see. But
Hmm.
right now, it's just got the number 2 player in the country.
Listen, Nevada, right? Bishop Gorman, Las Vegas, Stella Alvarado, speed rusher at D tackle, 6 foot 300 pounds. To me, I think he's a pure D tackle. Um, you could argue they might could put him outside, put him all over the line of scrimmage. As a speed rusher, I think he has the capability to play, every position on the D line.
Yeah.
But he's the number 3 player in this class, right? Number 1 in the state of Nevada and number 1 at his position, Faulk. He had to battle out all West Coast teams, right, for the most part, right? Where you got UTLA, USC, Alabama got the match, so they all over the place. You
Look,
got Arizona
Alabama,
State
Alabama, look at this shit.
and Oregon. This is a big win for Coach Raj. at UCLA, right? To better get the number 3 5-star in the country. That's a big win for them. I think their program is doing a good job, right? Especially, and out there in LA, it's boosters all over the world, and they got guys that really care about their program, and I think they've shown it the last 2 seasons, and I think that's why they was able to go get a hunt for a guy like this, right? You got to have NIL to get a kid like this. He's a sack guy. He also plays the run really well right now. And the Big Ten though, right? Coming from the West Coast, the motto is, big, tough, physical guys when it comes down to the front 7 on defense and the front 5 on offense. Do you feel like he'll better get down and dirty physically? Like, look, he's a speed rusher, right?
I
So,
mean, the reports in the film is saying his comp is at a ceiling. Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs. They shows flashes of that because he played DN, inside. More of a pass rusher than actually run stopping, but he's over impact the Big Ten. The Big Ten is not known for, guys running for 2,500 yards, 2,000 yards. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I think he should play right away. Especially for a program like UCLA. But if you get the number 3 player in the country at UCLA, you got to be on the field. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to figure that out, because if you do right by this 5-star, you want to bring in other 5-stars.
100%. All right, so the Oklahoma logo is a big-time brand throughout high schools and these 5-stars, right? The argument is, when you talk, just a little comment he made in the chat. He's not North Carolina or a Colorado, per se, but he's definitely not Alabama and all this and that. I think Oklahoma's a blue blood program.
I mean,
it's tiers to the blue bloods as well, right?
I think they're in that second. I think, all right, so, for example, right, I work at it's the Ivy League, 8 Ivy Leagues. But then they got Ivy Plus schools like Stanford, Michigan, Duke, right? They got these Ivy Plus schools where they're not necessarily the 8 Ivy Leagues, but they got the same type of respect and qualifications. I would say Oklahoma, the big wings, blue blood plus.
Blue blood plus.
I would say they blue blood plus. So they won A.
In my opinion,
second tier.
In my opinion, they came in as a second tier, but at this stage, they're a first tier program. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so when you look at Oklahoma, god damn, but come on, boy, I'm on the show now. Now you want to call? All right, so when you look at Oklahoma, we're looking at the 4th player on this list, and this is a contested specialist, 6'5", 197, out of Virginia, Colonial Heights, Virginia. They go get them a big-time athlete, right? Like, he's played multiple positions, both sides of the ball. He actually plays off-ball, like Will Sam type of linebacker, as well as a receiver for them. Oklahoma is bringing him in as a receiver. And he's, again, 6'5", 197, a guy that can go get the 50-50. Runs really solid routes for his size. And he has college size right now, right? Like, he can get right into a program and play far as size-wise. But is he going to be good enough to play, or is he going to be good enough to beat somebody that's already on that roster for Oklahoma to better get playing time early? How do you feel about Madison Harper, though, the number 1 receiver in the country?
I think he's one of those guys on the speed. We'll see what we come in as. The fall camp look like. I think he's coming to campus early, per reports. But I think if he could put a solid 10, 12 to 15 pounds on, he might be a quality tight end. Given Clemson is doing right now, I think the new trend is going to be 6'5", 6'6", contested with specialist receivers getting converted to tight end. I can see that trend happening.
Yeah, because
So something to think
LSU did
about,
it.
something to look at.
LSU did it with Matthew Johnson. He was a contested specialist receiver, moved him to tight end, and the guy will be a first round pick after the season.
MHMM good coaches see
But I
light.
can see Madison Harper, again, given what Clemson is currently doing with that tight end, that being the trend, moving contested specialists there.
All right. All right, so we're going to look at the number
He's
one
also
quarterback in
talked
this
about
year's class,
safety.
Javier Oliveira, out of Theodore, Alabama. Now, just when we talked about Auburn dominates Alabama, Alabama goes and get the number one quarterback out of high school from the state of Alabama. 6'1", 185-pound dual threat. Alabama dominates when it comes down to getting quarterbacks from the transfer portal. They always go get the best quarterbacks from the transfer portal, but quiet as kept, they got guys that are homegrown on that roster as well. They got a quarterback right now that's in his sophomore year, Reed, who came strictly from high school to Alabama, has been there since. They also paired up with guys from the portal. But this is a big grab, in my opinion. You get the number one quarterback in the 2034 class. To me, you got a guy that should be on the field by his redshirt sophomore year.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think Alabama get 5 stars like motherfucker change their underwear. Um, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not like him being the number one Q5 in the nation. That don't really mean nothing for Alabama. They get 5 stars. That's again, it's like changing their underwear. So we'll see. We'll see if Javier can come in and be that guy, or they're just gonna go in the portal. They're gonna have one thing for sure. They're gonna have a surplus of QB, and the one that produces is gonna play. It doesn't matter if they are homegrown or from the portal. So we'll see there.
Gotcha. I respect that, but I do like a player that played in the highest classification in Alabama. Not only that, won the state title as a junior, on his way to the playoffs again this year, trying to run it back. And he brought his entire team back. They were all sophomores and juniors uh, when they rose up to power in Theodore, Alabama. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, right? Over double-digit touchdowns running the football, and he's thrown 36 touchdowns this year as a passer, 2,800 yards passing. So he's pitting the product was put on film. You got to see it. We're getting to see it. I think he'll be a guy that will be a factor in this Alabama offense in a few years. The good thing is when you are Alabama, you give these guys time to process, learn your offense, learn to develop and grow. You don't have to force them on the field right away. So I do like the number 5 player going to Alabama. And he not only did he stay in Alabama, he beat out Auburn for him. He also beat out Tennessee, Miami, and Texas A&M. All right, the number 1 corner for 2, Ocon, hasn't signed with anybody yet. But Oregon, North Carolina, and Notre Dame are battling for this kid right now. South Carolina and USC is in their top 5, but look like they're on the outside looking in. 5'11", 199 pounds out of Seattle, Washington. Looks like North Carolina trying to put their imprint on the West Coast right now. Talk to me about this player and why you guys are interested in him and why Belichick wanted to put this as a top priority guy for your program at 5'11", 199, a zone corner.
We at North Carolina just tried things, right? We've never been to Washington or the Pacific Northwest, and this guy for 2 popped off the radar at us, and wanted to throw our hat in the ring, right? It's no shock that Oregon's been number 1. That's where possibly, or that's we in the running. Right now he's not returning our calls, so we don't know where that's going to go, but you can surmise what that means. But a hell of a player. Oregon looks like they're going to get them one, but for us to be number 2 in the Pacific Northwest with the 6th player in the nation, I'll take it.
And not for nothing, man. One of the biggest things Oregon done so far, it looks like, is a win for them. The hiring of the North Carolina State coach, taking that Oregon program over. They played in the Big Ten championship, right? They are doing what they asked this coach to do. Remember the interview a couple seasons ago with this coach and the expectations and what they were looking for? I think the Oregon program and Phil Knight over there with that Nike money is also getting the fruits of the labor of them picking that coach as their new head coach. Because right now they're doing a really good job winning ball games and in recruiting. So I think that was a win for a coach to go from North Carolina State to Oregon, get better resources, better NIL, better players, and you can see a better coach right now. So I think this is a big time fight right here. Is this fight over? Like you said, he hasn't returned your call. Is the fight over?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you surmise with him not turning our call. I mean, they got USC this. North Carolina's rooting for USC to win, but I still don't think that matters. I think he signs after this week with Oregon because he's not. He was just talking to us last, not talking to us now.
All right. So on your scouting film, right? Because at the Elite 11, when they did the 7-on-7 portion, we got to see him go up against the top 4 receivers in this year's class, and 2 out of the top 4, when he had to play man to man, they gave him work. A lot of work, right? Like he trending on Twitter right now, on X, getting beat by Harper, right? On a go get it 50-50, right? Now you're looking at 6'5" versus 5'11", right? But then you also had 2 other receivers that took him to the task and man. Do you think that he's his own corner because of the scheme he grew up in, as far as high school wise, or do you think that he will be able to play man to man, because he's gonna have to be able to play some type of man?
I think right now he was as primarily, to play zone in high school. And I think if you look at like, for example, back in the day, Syracuse in the 2-3 zone. Well, a lot of those players, whether it's a Carmelo Anthony, a Bolton, rest in peace, Derek Coleman, you name them, they was known as they don't play defense. All they did was sit in the zone, right?
Right.
And I think whatever program he's going to is going to have to be able to do both, to expose him and to train him up on being able to. They have a rough time at the Nike camps and the other thing with the top receivers, but it's tough if you playing zone you're not getting better.
Right.
So I think it'll be incumbent whatever program he goes to definitely play man and get him trained there. But he has the tools. His technique's just not where it needs to be in terms of playing zone. I mean, man, but zone, he's a ball hawk. Best cover corner, high school prospect that we've seen in the last 5 years.
In zone, 9 interceptions in his senior season. He's had 16 picks in his career, but in zone. All right, but in the 7-on-7 circuits, and man, he struggled. I do think that Oregon does play more zone than they do play man, but I just think if he's going, when you get a 5-star, they're projected top 32 because they're projected as the top 32 picks in their class when it comes down to NFL, right? And if you're going to play in the league, you got to better play man, period. So who would you say his player comp would be?
Right now, Richard Sherman, short Richard Sherman.
Like it. Let's talk about the number 7 player, Caleb Humphreys, right? 6'2", 223-pound lurker. Sam linebacker, we watched him play edge. We watched him play Mike. We watched him play strong safety. I think we're looking at Sony Styles in a sense. You did a really good job last year in recruiting high school on the offensive side of the ball. Seemed like this year defense is something you're attacking. You brought the number 1 D tackle in last cycle, and now you got the number 2 Sam in your class right now with guys like LJ Teller leading the program at linebacker, and then Patrick Faulk coming off the edge. You bring another guy that could do a little bit of everything on that front 7. This guy is a cover guy, right? They don't have no problem locking him down on tight ends and having him jam and follow slot receivers. He has the speed to better keep up with most of the tight ends in the country, and he's shown that on tape, right? We also see his get off to better get to the quarterback as well. We don't think he lacks in size, 6'2", 223. We do think he could put more weight on that frame. So my question to you is this kid to come right in and play from out of Largo, Florida, Speed State, Florida? What would he need to do besides get on campus early to be able to crack that starting lineup in 2035?
Right now he would have to be willing to move to the inside. Outside we're pretty solid. Those guys are coming back. But if he were he could crack the top two. You know, LJ's Rosario's leaving, a couple other guys are leaving, and at 6'2", let's say we could get him to 235, 238. You know, that's not bad at middle linebacker.
at
A good
all.
lurker, with the archetype lurker. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Fall camp. He's not. Unfortunately, he chose to stay. Not coming. Not graduating. Because he wants to do his prom and all those things. But he'll be on campus July, and you know, when he gets to campus.
Got you. All right, number 8, we got a will linebacker. This number 3 linebacker in the country, Henry Hahn. He's going to Notre Dame. Notre Dame been doing a pretty good job in recruiting, right? They go all the way to Camden, New Jersey, and they go pick up Henry Hahn, right? Spanish kid, 6'2", 118-pound thumper from out of Camden High School, right? This was your rival school in high school when you went to Woodrow Wilson. Camden has a really good program. They go deep in the playoffs. They're definitely state champions right now. And they get a guy that really did everything for this defense, captain too, right? From out of North Camden, right there on 4th Street. And he's from the home of the slum. So this kid is a baller though, right, Faulk? We get to see him out personal from him being from our home state. What is Notre Dame getting with Henry?
They're a tough, resilient player. Player is probably the most fearless player in this class. Will run through a brick wall, play fullback, and then play linebacker. And anybody know a fullback in high school hitting every play.
Hitting
something every play. You're hitting something. And didn't care. You know, played linebacker, was able to also rush the passer. I think once had like 24 sacks. Just wrecking shit, just fucking shit up.
Through the playoffs last year, 11 sacks through the playoffs last year alone.
Yeah, this player, Han, given this background, given this bringing, come in and change Notre Dame day one.
I think he plays right away.
Yeah.
And he run a 4.48 at the Nike camp. So to me, he's going to come in and play day one. Shout out to Camden. All right, number 9, right? You're looking at Ed Texada, and it's funny because they call him Ed Reed. 6'3", 208-pound hybrid, right? He's played a whole lot of nickel in high school. He's also played strong and free in high school, right? 19 interceptions in his senior year right now out of Marshall, Texas. He's playing in the highest classification in Texas as well. With Colorado, with Boo Carter being a junior elite safety and Rando Fontanet also being a junior, they came in the same class. Both of them juniors that are high-graded draft picks if they decide to come out this year. How important was it for Colorado and Coach Dion to slide into Texas and go get the number 1 strong safety in the class?
Yeah, I mean, 6'3", 208, she's 15 pounds on. We're looking at a Steve Atwood Jr.
Right. And they calling him Ed Reed, right? They say he's player comp Ed Reed. He picked the ball off and he scored with it every time. 19 interceptions in the senior year, bro.
I want to say maybe don't tell her than Ed Reed. Ed Reed was a little shorter. But I can see it.
I think the Ed Reed comp is because, you know, he scoop fumbles, take it to the crib, pick offs, take it to the crib, 19 interceptions. I just think the prototypical safety. But what I think he is, he'll make money at. I think if he comes to Colorado early like he's supposed to, I do think he cracks a starting lineup, or he'll play a whole lot as the number 2 safety coming in. But he's gonna get his money early with Colorado in that nickel position. Playing slot corners and playing in that nickel. I think he's physical enough to be in the box from the nickel position, and he's agile enough and fast enough to better cover your top slot receivers. So I think this is a big pickup, especially what they can possibly lose in that secondary this year. I think this would be a big time pickup, and it's not too often you can get a guy that can cover a nickel. Come on, if you're a nickel corner, you're covering what? Usually the fastest receiver on the opposing team, right? And you're not really covering I would say 5'11", 6 foot at the average is what guys will be in that slot. You got your outliers, right? You got some of them 6'4", 6'5" guys playing in the slot. But I just think that if he can show signs of being able to cover like he did in high school, this kid will get on the field early. No red shirt for him, in my opinion. USC goes and get the number 2 quarterback. Now, so stick. We scouted this guy. I don't know if it's because of injury fault, but he graded out to be a red gem. He's still the number 2 pocket passer from Fresno, California. Arizona State lost their head coach, and I think they lost their ability to remain as the number 1 West Coast recruiting team in the country. I think USC is ready to step into that role, and they're doing it right here with this number 10 pick right here, the number 10 player in this class, the number 2 quarterback in the cycle at 6'4", 217. He's not small at all, and he has a rifle of an arm, 96 throw power. I think they've been doing a good job at quarterback. Pete is doing a really good job. They've been having a whole bunch of legacy players coming back to play. Their fathers played for USC, and now the kids are. But stick to me. Do you think the red gem hurt him, or is it just going to be a trait thing? With a 5-star,
Yeah, I think it's going to be a trait thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, more of a trait thing. But he does have time to develop. Pete is a senior, but they do have the younger quarterback ready to go right behind him. At number 11, listen, 5-star plus. He's at 11 in this cycle, but probably could be number 2, in my opinion. Cordell Faulk. We spent a lot of time with this kid. As you can see, we finished 2nd in this race. Edge setter, 6'4", 235 pounds. And the fact that he chose Oklahoma over Colorado, considering what Colorado has done over the last 5 years with their edge room, right? They get to the quarterback a whole lot. But this kid does a little bit more than just rush the passer. He plays really well in a run game, and he does exactly what that edge setter does, which is set the edge. How big is this for Oklahoma to steal this player? Because they went to Plano, Texas, and took him from Colorado in a battle where it almost went down to the wire. And he chose Oklahoma without even getting to that Week 7 visit with Colorado. He went on a Week 4 visit with Oklahoma and signed with him Week 6. 5-star plus, Faulk. What do Oklahoma have in this player? Is this a guy that sees the field year 1 because of the 5-star plus?
They got to field year 1. They got to see the field
right away, right?
You have to. You have to.
All right, next up, we're looking at the number 2 corner in this cycle, Jesus Bandy. Is Ohio State still one of the schools that we call in DBU? They still keep getting top DBs every cycle. They get, whether it's a safety or a corner, they get one of the top 5 guys every year. What do you say about Jesus Bandy as a bump and run guy, right? This is a guy that can play nickel or on the edges and will lock you down man to man. He does his best work in press coverage more than anything else. He can play off ball, man, but in press coverage, he's a nightmare to get away from. Like, it's hard to really get away from this kid. He does a really good job in press technique. So, Faulk, Ohio State bringing this kid in. Do you see him seeing the field, or is this a guy that can take some time to develop because of what they got in their DB room already?
I'm torn here. I'm torn because there's not too many white bump and run corners,
right,
that are successful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's me judging a book by a cover. I'm pretty sure Jesus Brandy is a dog. Ohio State has I'm not gonna say rebounded, but has changed their outlook in their games and going to be a playoff picture, potentially the top 6 if they keep doing what they're doing. I don't know. I think he's going to sit on the bench. I think Ohio State is back to respectability around the country, and the transfer portal will be thick with guys that want to come play, and it's going to come in better than some of those guys. No. So I think he's going to be about a year or 2. He's going to have to sit, learn, but by year 3 he'll be out.
Gotcha. All right, the number 13 player, as we speed up this process a little bit, Colin McCluster. Speedster, 6'3", 165 pounds, light in the ass, but really good height. I think his player comp is the kid from Ohio State, Cornell Tate. Small frame, but really good height, and from Florida with that Florida speed. Oklahoma does it again, and they go get the number 2 receiver. Not only just the number 1 receiver in this class, they also bring in a number 2 receiver as well. I don't know if this kid play. I think their depth is really good in their receiver room. However, when you get guys like this that can get behind your defense on any play, there's always room to put them on the field for sure. Um, Colorado gets the number 2 safety as well. They go get another hybrid, another physical, 6 foot, 214 pound guy out of York, New England. They beat out Ohio State, Notre Dame, Arizona, and North Carolina. They get the number 2 strong safety in this year's class, Derek Albert. I just think Colorado is in front of the sticks here because they know they're going to lose a couple of their safeties to the draft, and they're replacing them right now with this recruiting class. So shout out to what Colorado's doing. Then there's the Oklahoma logo just going to keep popping up because they also got the number 3 wide receiver, Chet Cargile, 6'4", 207 physical route runner out of Henderson, Nevada. They beat out USC, Alabama, Clemson, and Colorado. Was in his top 5. Oklahoma wins this battle. Another 5-star receiver in the building. Now they got 3 receivers that's coming in that are 5 stars this year, Faulk. If this was North Carolina doing that, what would be your thought process behind this?
If North Carolina was bringing these guys in, going 5 wide, baby.
Look like they looking to figure out if Caleb Williams or
we going 5 wide, baby.
Or Baker.
If this is North Carolina, we going 5 wide, baby.
They bringing them in. They telling us something, right? This is the message that they sending right now, right? Going to go. Like, I don't think this is 5-star chasing. I think this is deliberate. I think he did this on purpose. Went and got the top 3 receivers of this cycle. All right. They also bring in Tyler Fish, athlete, agile, 6'3" center, 306 pounds out of Cleveland, Ohio, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, and North Carolina. They go bring in an athlete that could play guard or center, in my opinion. He also plays some D tackle for Cleveland, Ohio, but 6'3", 306 pounds, got really good size and agile. So I think Oklahoma's doing it again right there, loading up on big time talent, blue chip talent on the offensive line right now. So eventually when these guys all start, they might have one of the best lines in the country. USC does it again, their second 5-star, Bryce Vaughn, edge rusher. Look, I was in this battle as well. Power rusher, 6'5", out of Calabasas, California. Look, he stayed home. We did everything we could do in this battle and didn't win it. He stayed home and decided to take his talents and keep it in California, and USC is the beneficiary of it.
Back to the roots.
Number 18, Jamie Vedvik. Now, Faulk, you was battling for this guy. Contested specialist, 6'4", 202 pounds out of Clearwater, Florida. Not only is Oklahoma getting receivers, this is their 4th 5-star receiver, right? Like, at some point, they are... What is it? Is it the fact that they bringing in blue chip offensive linemen and they got some blue chip quarterbacks that they could choose from right now? Or is the receiver room losing a lot, or they don't feel like they have what they need in that receiver room to go get 4 5-star receivers in this cycle? I guess I'm trying to ask the question: is they overdoing it, or is this a strategy?
This is what I think. I'm gonna just be honest. I think it comes to a point where you either got a plan or you just grabbing it just to say you did it. And with this necessarily, I don't know. I mean, time will tell. The coach is the most successful coach in this thus far. So they got to have a plan. I don't think they're just grabbing players for the sake of grabbing players. But this is looking like it because you got this is what, the second contested specialist?
Yep.
You got a speedster, right? I don't know.
Route runner.
Yeah, physical route runner. It was their issue, you know. Like, I don't know. I haven't been watching them closely to know what is their weak points. I know they lost some players, but you know, I think with the O-line is the O-line going to pass protect, or they going to run block, or they going to be balanced. I don't know. I don't know what this one means.
That's what makes it hard for me.
Yeah, before I was like, yeah, I think they're going to fire wide. Now, like, you know what? He likes me. Let me bring him in.
This is my thing. I think the struggles of Oklahoma this year, their pass first offense,
I
right?
think it's that
And
Alabama
then I don't
syndrome.
understand
Being greedy cause you
with Joe
can.
Brady, we know he's a dialed up play caller, right? I don't think they're doing a good job this year matching up what they have talent wise with the scheme wise, right? I think they're just trying to fit.
So is it receivers then? That's what this looks like.
Yeah, like what the running back room look like. With what you bring in, like because he brought in three pass protectors, he brought in some agile guys, right? A couple of well roundeds over the last three cycles. So it's like they're building something, but what are they building it for, right? Because it seems like this year they have a really talented roster offensively, but like I don't think it's the Bo Bentley offense, right? I think that they wanted to be the Bo Bentley offense, but the quarterbacks aren't ready to be Bo Bentley yet. So you know, what's the identity? I think that's where they're struggling at. I think their losses is coming down to uh, stops, right? Defensively, not getting turnovers that they are creating. They're not finishing them, but they also giving up a lot of points. And then offensively, they still show that they can score with anybody. But what's making them not be able to put games away in the three losses that they had? And to me, I think uh, speaking to the coach earlier on when the season started, it was the run game, the run game, the run game. But then we haven't really seen the run game. So I think they're showing us what they really want to do by grabbing 4 or 5 star receivers right now. I think they want to go and they feel like they got both the quarterbacks that they got in the building. I think they feel like they could throw it all over the park, and they're trying to get back to that. That's how I see it. Because I don't want to think that as smart as he is and as well as he's doing recruiting, that he's just grabbing shit to grab 5 stars, right?
Well, somebody just posted in the chat.
Think money when we second and long or
Is it
third
the
down.
Alabama syndrome? Just being greedy, grabbing because you can.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to stay away from. I don't want to see it that way. I'm trying my best not to look at it that way. I'm trying my best to think that he was taught and learned enough to know uh, having a strategy with recruiting, right? Like, don't just grab it to be grabbing it
We tried
because
Well,
to
I mean,
play
let me
you
ask
don't
you
catch
this.
you,
up.
you don't need
Now
to
we
do that
gotta go
anymore,
back to
right? Like
full
my
on
thing
Joe
is this:
Brady.
you don't need to do that anymore, for right? Especially when you already had 2 top 5 classes, right? It's nothing you chasing outside of just I want to have the most 5 stars on my team, right? Or you have a
But let me ask
strategy.
you this though. Let me ask you this. Let me throw this caveat. And I'm not saying this is the case. I don't know. But Colorado has been dominating.
Okay,
And again, no, I mean, I don't mean no disrespect, but don't got nothing to show for it.
at all.
Oklahoma has taken the back seat and some will say to Colorado and got something to show for it, but it may feel like they're losing that battle. Could this be a reason they're just grabbing people now to be like, oh, I've been the best team, I've been the best recruiter. Colorado, slow your roll. This is me. I could get more 5 stars than you. That be at play.
I don't think he that petty. I think it's more about him wanting to throw the ball and wanting that Bo Bentley feeling, right? Like when he had Bo Bentley for them 4 seasons, he felt invincible at throwing the football. I don't know if the quarterbacks are can be Bo Bentley or the offensive line not ready for the quarterbacks to be Bo Bentley.
But
But I think him bringing in these type of receivers and bringing in this many receivers is telling, right? Is either telling you what he's trying to do strategy wise, or is telling that what he doesn't
He
have
made
on
you
that roster
know.
right now. Make sense?
no, it does. I mean, I think your point will be valid, and we can move on for time's sake. If this was 4 quarterbacks, the
Right.
fact this is 4 receivers, like ah, or you just grabbing not 4. Like when he had Bo Bentley, Bentley was a dog, right? He was one of the better players in the country.
Hmm.
Um,
We got
but
the
I don't
next
see that with
QB.
quarterbacks. I see it with receivers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just pointing that out. Like I'm just pointing that out to your point.
The
It's not
Arkansas
like he's doing
Bull.
this with quarterbacks.
Yeah. Nah, because I think he's bringing in receivers because he like what he got in his quarterback room. I just think at this point, fuck, bro, come on, man. I think at this point they just try and get the weapons.
That makes sense. I mean,
All right, number 19, the number 3 quarterback in this cycle, dual threat, 6', 211, 96 throw power, right? 86 speed, 88 excel. He could throw the football. Colorado has gotten top quarterbacks over the last 2 cycles. I just think with Colorado, I understand this. You
At
always
this
got to
point
bring
in
a quarterback in every
formatting,
cycle. Doesn't
they
matter.
should be plugging and playing, not grabbing the whole board.
And I don't want to stick on Oklahoma. I think they have a strategy, but Matt's not wrong. They should be. If you read back Matt's comment on his explanation what he feel like Oklahoma's doing with 4 natties and CEO and being able to get whoever you want whenever you want.
We lost a lot
It
of
should be a
WRs
lot more range to what you're getting,
and
right?
losing
Like
about 4-5 more.
it just seems to me when you go that deep at receiver is a reason, right? Like, and either you just being greedy because you could
I
do it and they
mean,
interested in you, or you need them.
two things could be true. I think it's a little something there with what you've been doing in recruiting. I think that's at play too. My opinion. My opinion. I could be wrong, but my opinion. You know, people are competitive, and if you are getting a lot of 5 stars, it's like, well, hold on, let me show you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got CEO, I got CEO. Let me show you what we doing.
Yeah, because we go at it, bro, and he's cleared my
Now for
board on 5
nothing,
stars.
he just got like 5 last week, right? 5 stars, right?
Yeah, he jumped to 8 2 advances ago, like where he brought in like 4
Come
or
on,
5 back to
man.
back to back. Yeah,
So what I'm saying is that's a lot of hard work, man.
and
But
honestly,
I mean I'm just throwing it out there.
he might
If
have
he
more if he
see
didn't take them losses.
if he see you if he don't see you up there, I
I
don't
knew
know if
you
he
don't
not really
wanna lose,
trying to
and
not
now the
grab
crying face.
and trying to really build up a roster. But it's like, nah, fuck it. Oh, you got 4, all right, I'm gonna get 6. You got 6, oh, I'm gonna go get 8. You know, and I go back to last season. You know, I'm not gonna give y'all tricks to y'all trade, but you know what y'all was doing during the transfer portal. That was y'all was indirectly competing.
Hmm.
I'm again, it's just me watching. It's my lens, my view. But y'all both was doing the same shit because y'all. It didn't matter what y'all did to high school. Y'all was trying to win that. Y'all
Right.
both was doing certain shit, which was the same shit to get them 5 star transfers. So again, I would be remiss to say it ain't a little bit of that here too. Like, hold on. Oh, you got 10 5 star? All right, let me just saying.
Nah, it makes sense. Completely makes sense. All right, number 19 in the country is quarterback number 3 in the nation in this class. Dual threat, 6', 211, and that's Jazzio, Romeo Jazzio out of Los Angeles, California. Notre Dame, Alabama, Arizona State, Oklahoma were in that battle. Colorado gets the purple commit. Notre Dame gets Sammy Bruner, Mike linebacker. So not only do they bring in the Will, they bring in a Mike, signal caller from Princeton, New Jersey. Seems like they stand in New Jersey and grabbing their 5-star signal caller, 6'2", 236 pounds. But we do know for Mike linebacker, he has the size right now to see the field. And I honestly, in my opinion, I think both those guys that they brought in already in this class that they got verbal commits from will see the field in 2035. Eric Waddy, wide receiver, 6'3", 198 pounds out of Montgomery, Alabama. Just when we talked about Auburn dominating Alabama, Alabama goes and get their second Alabama player, the number 5 receiver in the cycle, physical route runner, 6'3", 198. And they're losing a big time receiver after this season too, so this makes sense. Then you're looking at Clemson and Trevante Gaskin, will linebacker, signal caller, 6'3", 226 out of Atlanta, Georgia. They go and they beat Auburn, Alabama, Duke, and and Texas A&T, Texas A&T, whatever, Texas A&M. 6'3", 226 out of Georgia, big time pickup for them. Then there's the USC, another red gem, Lorenzo Dugans. We were in the battle for him. He dropped us out of it. They go Santa Ana Clara. They keep their guys home. Thumper, 161, 238. Number 2 Mike linebacker in this cycle. I think injury is the reason why he's sitting on that red gem. But I do think this kid will be a good player. Don't know if he plays year 1 for them, but he will be a great player for this team. 24, we're looking at Keelan Econom, 6'3", 220-pound, pure power edge out of Delville, Virginia, right? Faulk, you beat out Oklahoma in this battle. Ohio State, Alabama, you beat Blue Bloods out for this player.
That was my 5-star Super Bowl right there. That battle was my 5-star Super Bowl.
Yeah, because you beat some names out for that guy. And he had some big time Blue Bloods in his five searches. Did you get him on a visit?
Yep. I had to do what I had to do, and we went and did what we had to do to Oklahoma and Ohio State. Well, he wanted to go there. He didn't have an offer on. Ohio State was on his heels. We did what we did.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, the number 3 strong safety, Tyler Ragamba, 5'11", 189, box specialist, here tackling machine, another Alabama player. Is there something going on with Alabama this year, right? They are attacking the fuck out of Alabama. I don't think they just going after Alabama players because they're Alabama players. I think they're just 5 stars that happen to be from Alabama.
I believe the same thing. I think the coach in Alabama, they don't care. They could be from wherever, Africa, Canada,
They don't give a fuck.
Pakistan.
They're 5-star. They on
They don't
the
give a
board.
fuck. Dubai, they don't give a fuck. They nice. They won't try to get them.
They on the board. Shout out to Alabama, Coach Rand. All right, so Colorado gets the number 6 receiver, Austin Daly, 6'2", 24-pound defensive
we was
specialist.
talking about Oklahoma.
This is our second receiver. We got 2 5-stars.
All right.
Actually, 1 5-star. They only got 1 5-star receiver.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was seeing a lot of Colorado.
I think we brought in a total of 6 because you're about to see us again at 27 and bringing in Antoine Feeney, Sam linebacker, 6'3", 217 pounds out of Fresno, California. We beat out Clemson, UCLA, Oklahoma, and Indiana for the 6'3", 217 outside linebacker that will sit. He'll be on campus early, but he'll sit. Oklahoma's back in the building. This is the the guard that we all was going after. The number 1 guard in this cycle, Darrell Ogle.
Yeah.
Ogley.
Yeah.
6'1", 296, man. Oklahoma goes and gets it. They got 3 top linemen in this cycle right now, and 4 of the top receivers.
Yeah, we tried to get him, man. Like kitchen sink at his ass, but
Yeah, he was first on my board when we first started, and then dropped me all the way to 4, then out of the fight. For sure, though. But
I see you, Indiana, and I see you at the bottom, baby.
Indiana was in this battle too for the 5-star plus.
I see you, Indiana.
Boundary corner out of Humboldt, Texas, 6'1", 183. Emmett Yadon. We beat out Houston, Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, and Indiana for the number 3 corner in the nation, number 29 overall. 4 in the state of Texas, and he's a 5-star plus. Really good speed too. Really good speed. So this kid, we're deep at corner. However, we got a bunch of draft eligible guys, so we'll see who leaves, who stays. But this is another good pickup. We've brought in the top corners in the last 2 cycles. Top 10 corners, top 5 corners in the last 2 cycles. All right, Notre Dame, that emblem, Deontay Bone, cornerback, bump and run specialist, number 4, 6'2". He got really good size, Faulk. 6'2", 208 pounds out of Lindenhurst, New York. They on the East Coast getting busy right now. They seem like they getting all the East Coast 5-stars. The number 31 5-star Deion Ingram is looking at Notre Dame and Ohio State. We didn't even know this kid was we was in this battle, or we'd have definitely fought for the kid from St. Louis, Missouri. 6'1", 209 pounds, backfield threat. He will have takeoff, so he's going to be a big time player once he's built.
Africa is wild,
this is big though. He said Africa wild. Yep. Deion Ingram. Can Ohio State overcome Notre Dame? Right now, Notre Dame has the odds favorites to sign this kid. They also got the 32 5-star and Ben Zettel. D-tackle, gap specialist, 6'6", 292. Beat out Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, Indiana, and North Carolina for the last 5-star this year's cycle. That's your 5-star plus. That's the conversation around the 5 stars in this country right now. And we'll see the ones that aren't signed yet, who wins those battles. With that being said, we're out of here. All right, Faulk, we know we only got you for a short bit right now. Let's get into some league news right now. When we look at the top 25.
Hold on, man. Before we get to the top 25, shout out to George. But we gotta talk about yesterday in the chat. And we got.
I'm with
sharing
you.
information.
Fuck you mean?
when shared information goes wrong, I mean, you want to elaborate on that, Commissioner?
The cat,
You
what the
want to elaborate
catfish?
on that?
Wait, let's see if Corey's still watching right now. Cause we ready to get up on Corey a little bit for the sharing the catfish situation. Was that a catfish, Corey? I saw her on X back page. Nah, but that flex went all the way wrong though, Corey. Oh, that shit went all the way wrong.
It was crazy because how it started was, and this had me. I really had real tears in my eyes, and I'm. It wasn't like I was laughing at Corey, but it was just how everybody just started throwing lighter fluid on. But basically, we was just talking, and it was like, yeah, niggas older, what I'm saying, look good to be 42, and he was like, shit, look good to be 38, and that was it. But then he posted, yeah, still bagging 21-year-olds, and I was like, hold on, man. You might want to push that up a little bit, 21-year-olds, because
R
I mean,
motherfucking
what I'm
R
saying.
jelly. R
So then he
jelly.
thought about it, and he was like, yeah, you right. And then he posted a picture, just a picture of, I'm assuming, a nice young looking lady,
Sure.
and everybody just went,
They went
he
in
lit
on
his
his
ass
ass.
up. The thing is, nobody asked. Like, oh my god, yeah, man. I just wanted to bring that up, man.
Wait,
When sharing information goes wrong
is that
in the
flexing
chat,
going wrong or flexing at the wrong time? Or the
I think
wrong
it's
flex? Or the wrong flex?
I think it's reading the room. When reading the room goes wrong, that wasn't the time for you to post. That wasn't the time.
Nigga started killing me with the.
Unless you had a photo with her. Now, if you had a photo with, like, y'all both laying in the bed, then you can't dispute it. But yeah, he got flamed on, and he really was just in the conversation, just casually talking. So when sharing goes wrong, but I carry on. I had to just come back to that, man.
All right, so when you
Shout
look at
out to
the
Corey, man. Good win today.
top five right now and in the media poll and coaches poll, when you look at the top five right now, Colorado, North Carolina, Clemson, Alabama, and South Carolina. Now, South Carolina did just take a loss to Georgia in a high-scoring game. But coming off of that high-scoring game, right before they put up 98 against Tennessee on the road. They went into Knoxville and hung 98 on Tennessee and Coach Boone. When you look at the top five, I think you got the usual suspects of recently up there when it comes down to the top three. But then Alabama's fighting their ass off with big wins over Houston and Clemson in their non-conference games. And then in conference, you're looking at Florida, big win over Florida, right? Big win over Penn State, another non-conference game. And they are lined up to play Texas today at some point to be able to give us their first like ranked conference game since Florida. But then they finish up with computer, and then the Iron Bowl, right? I think Auburn has won the last three Iron Bowls. Am I correct?
No, it's something. No, it's something like that.
Yo, we in the middle of a show. Hold on, folks. Where Ty ass at, man? What do you got? Got to punt the ball, dog. What's the situation, man? How much time left? What quarter y'all in? All that, like all that. Huh?
Hold on, bro.
I'm gonna tie with that fuck shit, though, but I ain't punting shit. This game cheap. You just rolling out, throwing downfield. That's glitchy as hell. 4 for 5, bro. Was up by 28, and you start doing all glitchy shit. What? So Ty was beating you by 20. Where you go? Where Rand go? We go. Tata on the phone, man. Yo, bro.
My bad, I ain't mean to do that.
Nah, you straight. Like, what part of the game y'all was at?
2 to 5. It was 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
2 minutes?
And 30 seconds left.
Oh, all right, yeah, it ain't the two. What quarter?
Fourth quarter. He's still dropping.
Oh, nah. Who went? Nah, he don't got a punt. Once the 4 minute mark, he don't got a punt in the fourth quarter. He don't got a punt. Look, at 4 minutes, you can go for it no matter what in the fourth quarter.
All right.
All right?
All right.
All right. I'm cussing Ty out right now, though. He talking about he started running glitchy plays. Nobody heard that shit, man. You straight. He don't got to punt the ball. It was 4 minutes. I was up 49-28. They're losing now. Hold on. You straight, cuz. You are straight. It was 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You can go for it. All right, back to it. So it looks like Rand was in a struggling game, and it looked like he brought the beat back because Tata just said he was up 49-28, and he said he started running all straight glitchy shit. I don't know what that means. Started running glitchy plays. niggas be mad as hell. Niggas be mad as hell, bro. Oh my god. You gonna say he start running glitchy plays. I don't think Rand doing nothing he don't already be doing. Turbo and motherfucking rolling out, bombing your ass. But let's get back to this Alabama season, right? Like after a 3 year layoff of not being in the playoffs, it seemed like they hadn't on a straight crash course to doing exactly that this season, though. And if they get in the playoffs, what's your expectations for them?
Ooh, Alabama.
Yeah,
Uh, I think quarterfinals. Um, I think they, just depending on matchups. I think one of those teams um were streaky and depending on matchups. But right now, I think a great season for them would be quarterfinals. Um, because they haven't been to the playoffs in what 3 years.
I
Seasons they
think three.
haven't been to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think 3 straight seasons.
So 3 seasons off, and then now you basically are, no losses, one loss, or in the playoffs. I think that's that means you're on back. I just can't see them right now being a favorite or a top 2 or top 3 team. Just because they just haven't been there. They haven't been there. So yeah, quarterfinals.
Yeah, so my thing is this. They were down 49-28 to Texas. He said, I quit. Fuck this bum ass nigga. Come on, Ty. Niggas be really getting mad, bro. Oh my god.
Who
Anyway,
was score? Why he quit?
well, it was 49-28, and it sounded like Rand came back on his ass.
And was
And
winning, or
it sounded like he was winning.
I mean, at some point, if you up by 21, that gotta be you, bro.
That's
You
on
gotta
you.
look at that. Yeah, like
You gotta better put that game away. There's enough clock to run that bitch out. That's enough. Look, that's at least 3 possessions where you could take down there 10 minutes off the clock if you wanted to.
yeah, I think it's.
That's a quarter and 3 minutes. All right, so he won
Gonna
his
carry
first
him.
game, but he gonna play all computer games, and at worst he'll finish the season with 1 loss. Uh, Come on, Rand. Please let me finish this show, bro. Hold on. Yo, bro. Hello?
Hey, the nigga lost the game, bro. You hear me?
He conceded or quit?
He could see. I went down to school. He could see the game. The nigga was up. He was beating by 28. I can't hold it back.
Yeah, he explaining that shit, but it don't make sense. Like talking about you running Gucci plays, man, it don't make sense.
What's
Yeah. You got the window, right?
hold on, man.
Let me know, because if I gotta put it on auto, I'll put it on auto for you.
Bro, this nigga run that shit. You know that city runs. So
Yeah, the Wildcat shit. Yeah,
I'm
bro.
not gonna say it's glitchy. That's just the way he plays. It's cool. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, don't.
Why want a nigga do some other shit? It's glitchy for
Yeah.
him, but I'm scared to have it come.
Yeah, 49-28, and you coming back. That shit, I mean, that's 3 touchdowns, bro. You could run 10 minutes off the clock if you wanted to in that situation. Like, that's bullshit. So I think he more mad at the comeback than anything, and probably how you did it, right? Like I just said on the show.
Niggas mad. These niggas be tough through the deal and all that crazy. I ain't mad.
Just let me know. Just let me know if it's if he like left the game, conceded and saved, or or it didn't save. So I can
I'm gonna listen to I have to go run outside, grab them by the truck. I'm gonna listen to
all right, just let me know and I'll put him on auto. All
Alright.
right. All right, so Faulk, that's a big win. But look, if you get to that Auburn game, right, and let's just say he's not successful, I think he'll be this year. But let's say he's not successful in that game, I'm still thinking SEC championship, and will that be a problem for him, right? Because if he lose that, would that be enough to not be in the playoff? You think he's safe no matter what?
I think he's safe no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think 2 losses. If it came down to that, I don't think 2 losses will knock him out of the playoffs right now. Would you call this a comeback season for him?
Sure, for sure.
For sure, right? All right, and then we're looking at South Carolina at number 5. The reigning national champions right now took their first loss in a shootout to Georgia. Georgia has upset 2 big-time programs of South Carolina this year. I don't know. When I'm looking at it, you got. So it looked like Alabama and South Carolina are on a head-to-head collision for the SEC championship. Unless Georgia, I know Georgia's not ranked right now. I'll get to that when I go to conference standings. We'll talk about that afterwards. But South Carolina going to finish their season up with Auburn, Florida, Computer, and then Clemson. Ooh. South Carolina got a tight schedule coming down the stretch, right? They got 3 user games out of 4.
Clemson want blood.
And Clemson won blood. They got blood last year. They want blood again right now. So, ooh, that's big time right now. So Coach T, pressure's on, right? Like, pressure's on him. He got to get through those two conference games and then that rival game at the end of the year. Indiana quietly only lost to South Carolina, and they are sitting at 7-1, number 6 in the nation right now. They're going to finish their season up against Oregon, and then all computer games, right? They got number 7 Oregon coming up. That's the game, right? It looks like them two are on a head-to-head collision on conference championship right now. Without looking at any other team in the conference, they're on head-to-head collision right now. So this game is going to be a big marquee game between the both of them. Depending on how many other teams in that conference only got 1 loss. So shout out to Indiana. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He's doing right now. And then the next team that's on the comeback right now is this Ohio State Buckeye squad, 8-0 right now, right? And their big wins this year was over Oklahoma the first week of the season, 38-35, big time win there. They took care of UCLA at 62-35. And they're going to finish their year up with Notre Dame and Michigan, the Michigan team that beat them last year in that big rival game at the end of the year. So they do got 2 more potentials outside of that, all computer games. So it looks like Ohio State is back to being a playoff team this year. Shout out to Antonio for fighting through this shit. LSU 7-1, right? They at Mississippi State. Let's see what their schedule down the stretch look like, right? Like they are literally going to play Texas, Georgia, Auburn now. These are 3 big time games for LSU. Can we see them fighting through these games and winning these games? Georgia been upsetting every ranked team they played this year. Texas is coming off an angry loss right now, so we'll just see how that goes. And then Auburn is sneaky, right? Auburn can get anybody at any moment. So if you're looking at scheduling down the stretch, they're going to play 3 user games, 3 conference games down the stretch. They're also undefeated in the conference play right now. So if they can win this conference schedule, these last 4 games, they should be in the SEC championship as well, and a competition for it. But they do have a really tough schedule now. Both two out of the 3 teams aren't ranked, but they're 2 of the better teams in the country.
Yeah.
Can Rob get? I mean, Rob, can Albert get through this? What do you think? You think this is the year he fight through this?
I think Georgia's going to be the game. I think Tata is probably checked out after that collapse.
Yeah, he gonna be mad as hell. He gonna do that
I
Jersey
think
shit.
he's checked out. I think Georgia is the game, and I think if you go to Georgia's schedule, they might play themselves into the SEC championship.
Yeah, I think that right now they're not ranked, but I do think that they're sitting at 6-2 right now, and they're 5-0 conference play as well, right? So,
What's their schedule? What is Georgia's schedule?
all right, they got
They
Florida,
got any conference losses?
none. They're
None.
undefeated in the conference play. They gonna play Florida, and they get Florida and Georgia, you in Georgia.
So if they win those games, they beat South Carolina, so they should be in the SEC championship.
They'll be playing Alabama in the SEC championship, and
Yeah, even if they lose to Georgia Tech is not in their
exactly.
conference. What's Alabama's schedule again?
Alabama don't
Might
play
be
nobody else.
Alabama and Georgia.
All Alabama guys on Auburn at the end of the year.
Oh wow! So it might be right now. It's looking like it's Georgia out and Alabama, LSU possibly in the mix.
It's LSU, Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia all in the mix for the SEC championship right now. With Oklahoma losing to Florida and Georgia in conference play, so they got 2 conference losses, so they're out of the mix. Right now, it comes down to LSU, Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia to play in the SEC championship. And if Georgia gets to the SEC championship, they might be playing themselves into a playoff berth. And they're not ranked right now, but they'll get ranked and they'll be ranked after this week. All right, so look, we know Houston is number 11 right now, 7-2. Their only losses is to out of conference games, right? They lost to Alabama and they lost to North Carolina. Now Houston is on a crash course with Colorado. Houston and Coach Lee being first year in the conference. He said, "Buy him conceding I won 2-9." Oh, that's fucking that nigga corny. He ain't do that. He ain't do that shit to him. Wow.
What happened?
Ty did something and he conceded and ran only one. The score is 2-0.
How?
I don't know.
Go check. Go keep talking.
Man, fuck it. Yeah. All right. So I think they must have tied. Like he must have not been winning the game, or he must have just scored and he quit and it ain't registered. And because Ty, he would have been better off just fucking quitting the whole game, bro. Let the nigga play the computer or something.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. I don't know. I'll find out though. I don't want to talk about it right this second.
Keep going.
All right. So look, Houston has all computer games down the stretch, and then they got Texas, which doesn't matter for conference play, right? Houston looks like they're going to win out in conference play, and they're going to see Colorado in the Big 12 championship. Coach Hoodie takes this Houston program over, and we'll be playing in the Big 12 championship year 1. How do you feel about that?
I think it just goes to show you, we got a talented league. Whether guys come back again. You got a guy taking Houston, the University.
And we had a coach take this Houston program and go right to the playoffs with them, and then the following year they lost like 4 straight blowout games, and then took the Michigan job. So Houston has always been that program. I thought if somebody had them, good things could happen. And right now, sitting at 7-2, Coach Hoodie doing a really good job in his first true season under with this Houston program. So I think they'll be the next rising team in the Big 12. In my opinion, I think they'll be the team that will have something to say about the Big 12 year in and year out. All right, so then the next user team is Georgia Tech. They just lost 49-42 to Clemson. They at number 16 California. They're going to beat that team computer. They'll move back up. They was just number 10, and they lost by a score, 7 points to Clemson in their first time ever matchup. So D West looked like he could play a little bit. Let me find out who they finish up with and what's their conference record. All right, so they're going to finish up with California, Stanford. They do get Louisville. That's the last conference game they got, and then they got Georgia at the end of the year. D West can play us up into a playoff.
Mm-hmm.
D West went out. He fucked around being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's trending for first year coaches though. All right, now Florida 5-2 right now. They do got Auburn. This is a big game for Florida. Florida got it. Look, Florida
They
season is
set for 9 o'clock. They set for 9 o'clock.
Florida. Listen to this though. Florida schedule is fucking hell. They go to Auburn. I mean, they get Auburn at home. They get Georgia at home. Then they go to South Carolina. They get Missouri Computer at home, and then they at Florida State at the end of the season, bro. That's 5 user games at the end of the season. This gonna tell us everything we need to know about his third year with this Florida program. Yeah, no.
If Florida, then you go up a little bit. Let me see in their schedule.
So they took care of Miami, lost to Indiana, lost to Alabama, and then they went on a stretch of beating number 24 Tulane, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and number 23 Oklahoma, who was number 6 at the time. Now they ready to run out with Auburn and a hot Georgia team.
I'm gonna tell you this: if Florida Gators went out, they deserve to be in the playoffs. They deserve to be in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
If they went out, they deserve to be in Atlanta.
If they went out, they knocked South Carolina out of the motherfucking playoffs. If they beat South Carolina, because listen, look, not really. But if they beat South Carolina, gotta give them 2 conference losses, 2 losses on the year. South Carolina won't be able to regain themselves by playing in the SEC championship, though.
And then Clemson won blood.
Exactly, that's my point. Now, Auburn and Georgia are going. All 3 of these games. Look, he coming off Oklahoma, then he got Auburn, Georgia, South Carolina. If he can win, he got to win out because he already got 2 losses. But if he can win these games, man, we looking at Florida and that program back at it. All right, so then you start looking at teams like Nebraska, who's quiet at 8-1 right now, 5-1 in conference play. Let's see what they finish up with. All right, so Nebraska gonna finish up with no more user games, right? So they got Northwestern, Purdue, and Iowa. So it looked like they sitting in the conference championship game against Ohio State, in my opinion, depending on Indiana, right? No, Indiana undefeated in the conference play, so then they don't play each other. Wait, did they play each other? Nope. They missed each other this year. So right now, it's Indiana, Nebraska, and Ohio State for the Big Ten right now. All right. Now, Coach Hitter got this is going to be a collision between Tulane and UCF, and USF. All right. The Bulls are number 18 in the nation right now, and the winner of that game will be in the playoffs when it comes down to USF and Tulane, right? American Conference, they got all computer games until they play each other, and that's the last game in November 25th, week 13. Tulane travels to USF for the conference, which is crazy because what happens is the winner of this will get that 12th spot in the playoffs. Then you got to be careful because if he's out, he might be in the top 10, and he might get a higher spot in the playoffs with that. Like, this is going to be crazy because now we got 2 Power 6 conferences, 2 teams in Power 6, which is solid, right? So then you're looking at USC 5-2. They at Oregon to when they going to play. They got to play tonight, right? What time they playing? Who knows? But USC and Oregon, that's going to be a big time game. Oregon went from 9-19 after losing to Nebraska 52-14. Texas is going to fall out of the ranking. Oklahoma going to move up the board. Oklahoma don't really play anybody at all at the end of the year, right? Except Michigan. They do get Michigan week 12. Michigan can fight their way back into the ranks, but then they still got that Ohio State matchup week 13, and they got Oklahoma week 12. So Max don't play anybody ranked at all to finish out the season. So he really on a bubble right now. So we'll see what happens with Oklahoma down the stretch. I don't think they're out of the playoffs. I think they still can get in. And then Tulane is 24, and we already explained their situation right now. So that's the top 25 right now. We'll look at conference, and then we'll get out of here. We'll do a show again tomorrow. Conference standings. When you look at the ACC, you're looking at North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State are all undefeated, with Georgia Tech, Louisville, California, and Virginia Tech all with 1 losses, right? And 2 out of those 1-loss teams are users, 1 is a computer team. So North Carolina doesn't play any of those teams. Oh, no, you got Florida State. So you do get Florida State. So that's going to be a big game, week 10. So that's at advantage, actually. That's huge. You win, you win. Clemson has on schedule left. They have Florida State. So Florida State literally could not put himself in an ACC championship by beating you and Clemson.
Clemson got Florida State got Clemson too.
Yep, Florida State played you at week 10 and Clemson at week 12. And they
Florida
can,
State can get to it.
yeah, they can literally put themselves in the conference championship by beating both of y'all. Who else they play? Let's see. They got down the stretch. They got North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Clemson, and Florida. So they got 3 conference games, and then their matchup against Florida in a rival game. They can play themselves in the playoffs. They win these next 4 games. They're going to the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
All right, that's the ACC. Now the American League is going to come down to Tulane and USF. Hidden Knox going to battle it out over here week 13. Then after they play week 13, they're going to have to play each other in the conference championship game. So again, the winner of those 2 games, or if they split, I don't know how that's going to look, but this is going to be interesting because we're going to get a group of 5 user this year and not a computer game in the playoffs. Whoops. All right, as far as the Big 12 go, Colorado and Houston are undefeated, and neither one of us play a team worth playing as far as user-wise, so it looked like it's a head-on collision between Colorado and Houston in the conference championship, with Texas Tech at 5-3 and 4-1 at conference play. TCU number 10, 6-1, 3-1 at conference play. In Arizona State, they went 4-4 this year. They 500, but they 4-2 in conference play. Notre Dame 5-3, 4-3 in conference play. Baylor sitting at 2-2, 2-5. In the Big Ten, you're looking at 3 undefeated teams right now: Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State. And I don't think they play each other. I'm lying. All right, so at week 11, Oregon will travel to Indiana to take on the users, and the winner of that game will be playing Ohio State in the conference championship, because Ohio State don't play either one of those teams. Nope. Ohio State got Notre Dame, they got Minnesota, Notre Dame, Illinois, Rutgers, and Michigan. Now, the only way Ohio State can hurt themselves is they lose the big game, the big rival game between Michigan. They lost it last year, but I don't think that's the same team. So that's the only way they can hurt themselves, because they're going to go undefeated, and then they'll get that Michigan game week 13. And if Rob pull an upset, then it's going to come down to a 1-loss team between Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. And last but not least, the SEC. When you look at the SEC, you're looking at, all right, so this is funny. So Alabama's 4-0, South Carolina 4-1, LSU 4-0 conference play, Georgia 5-0 conference play, and then you got Florida with 1 loss, A&M with 1 loss, Auburn with 1 loss in conference play. But we showed their schedule, right? LSU got a schedule, and it's going to come down to these four teams right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Florida, Georgia, LSU, South Carolina, Alabama all control their path. With Auburn in the mix as well. I don't know if they get in championship game, but they do play a couple of these teams that can knock them out and fit themselves in if they don't lose another game in conference play.
They need some help. They need Florida to lose a couple. They need Georgia to lose one. They got to win out. Auburn could get in, but they got to win out. They got to win out, and they need some help.
So look, they got Florida, South Carolina, Texas, LSU, and Alabama down the stretch. They all conference games.
That's what I'm saying. They got to win out. They got to win out, and then they still going to need Georgia to lose.
Yeah, they
But
going
if
to
they
need
win
Georgia.
out, they might be in.
That's what I was gonna say. They went out, they'll be in it because they'll knock out Florida, South Carolina, LSU, and Alabama.
They won them shit. They deserve to be in the playoffs.
That's what I mean. That schedule, shit, hell yeah. All right, and that's the conference play right now. We'll get back to stats and stuff like that at Advance. The next event, we'll do another Fuck You Mean episode 2 because the award rates will be out and shit. So we'll talk about the Heisman and the All Americans and who's leading in the award categories going forward. With that being said, I'm Ant Hicks. We on the Fuck You Mean podcast.
What you mean?
We
I'll
out
let
of here. Holla.